Hello everyone, and welcome to another unboxing from Always Play Blue. Today we're going to take a look at Uprising: Curse of the Last Emperor, a 4X co-op game designed by Cornelius Kremen, Paul Mazur, Dick Somner, and published by Nemesis Games. So Uprising is probably one of the biggest things, biggest games I've backed to date. I've had other games turn up like Dinosaur World that have got a nice big box and a couple of expansions, so a lot of content. But this, just the base game box, is very, very heavy, very, very big. So we've got the safety notice warning leaflet on the front there. Just get rid of that. And we've got the first of the punch board. So the box lid, actually, it's one of those games where you've got this punch board, so the lid sits a little higher. But I'm sure once we punch all this and put it into the nice inserts, it will sit nice and flush. But we've got some tiles here that you lay out on the board. It's one of those games where you have a different layout each time, so the replayability is really there. It's good quality cardboard. Pops out the punch board really nicely, not too thin though. So that's really good. And you can see you've got the different hex tiles, then you've got the three different sort of resources as tokens. You've got the 1s and 3 value ones, fitting in where they can on the punch board, all the way around the outside. I really like the art on these as well. It's a very sort of distinct world. This looks like so some of the sea towers, and then I'm going to guess that these are the starting tiles for the factions, where they get placed. And then this is the board itself. I know there was a chance to purchase a game mat, and we are starting to get into getting more game mats for our games. But I didn't get this one at the time, and it had to be ordered separately. I think people were actually getting the game mat like a year before they got the game because it was done by a third party. But that's the main board with the hex tile spaces, and then there's 2 secondary boards. So this is for the Legions and Chaos. So this will go. I think it's quite good they've done that because it's going to be a table hog for this game. So it's nice that if you can't fit it all together in as the playmat would be, in sort of one section, you can rearrange it around your table as your table allows you to. And then that was the other one. I'm not 100% up on the rules and the stuff about this game, so I'm not sure what those boards represent at the moment. I'm looking forward to diving into the rulebook. Here we've got some reference cards for the players, which is always nice. And then here's the actual rulebook. Really love this spiral, and it's not like a massive rulebook. It's thick, but it's manageable. So there's all your components. There's the different. So it looks a bit like Twilight Imperium, where there's different hex layouts for the different player counts, and then all the breakdown of the rules. And I like that they've got a kind of a, this is how the game's supposed to work. Here's some things you should think about when you play. It's a really nice touch, sort of for new players. And there's some more punch board here to do with the Legion Chaos, what looks of it. And then the player boards for the factions themselves. So there's 4 factions in the base game box, and then when we look at the expansion box after this, the Arch Nemesis expansion, there's 4 more in there as well. So this is the first selling point of this game. It's the inserts. Everyone loves these sort of game trays style inserts where it makes setup so good. It's very important to a lot of gamers these days, myself included. It's not just about having a nice game, but it's not having that off put for either teaching new players or sort of regular groups, and that taking too long to set everything up. So having these the top 4 trays that you can see with the different factions characters, and I love these. I'll talk about these in a second. But yeah, the top layer is the 4 factions in their own little trays. So you can just hand them out to the player. They're the standees for they're the bases for the standees. This is what I like as well. For sorting out, it's just embossed into the bottom of the tray. Tells you what goes in what section. That's a really nice, and on the tops of the lids as well. You can see that's a really nice touch because it just makes it easier packing up. So everyone can just see where the components go. But yeah, these standees are really nice. They're like a deluxe version of the sort of cardboard standees you get in Gloomhaven. It's nice to see not everyone going miniatures because they can take up even more room. And these look fantastic. And it won't allow things to get too cluttered. You have too many minis on the board and you can just get a bit of a mess of plastic. But these are nice and thin like standees, and it will look really nice and colourful on the board, I think. I won't open up the other 2. I'll just go through and show. I like the colours they've chosen as well, like not just sort of standard sort of blue, yellow, red. I like the sort of variations on those colours they've chosen. So next up on the sort of second layer, there's a little hole to keep your dice in, and that's the lid to this section. And again, you can see that's where the hexes. Once I punch those hexes out, that's where they'll go. These cards, we've got item cards, we've got faction cards, and then each faction has like a couple of heroes. sort of in your army and that, and it looks like there's cards specific to those characters as well. The material is really nice. It's thick. Feels good quality. They're quite tough cards. They're not. I mean, once we get playing a bit on these and they get used, but they don't. It's very hard to slide through these. I'm going through the cards here and they're just coming across in chunks. I plan to sleeve them. I sleeve most of my games if the insert allows, and the makers of the game have said that this insert will allow sleeve cards. So I've already got that planned anyway. So they'll be easy to deal out and shuffle. But you can see there, I just push a few cards and like 5 or 6 come across in one. But it's hard to get across the material and how they feel. They are really nice, tough quality cards there. And there's a lot of them there. What we got next? So this is, I think these are like score markers. There's a score tracker around the outside of the board, and these are score markers for the 6 different factions. So the 2 AI factions that you'll be fighting against, the Chaos and the Legion, and then whatever faction you choose, there's your matching colour one with the different symbols on them, which is really nice. I think I remember reading as well that the AI factions, the 2 sort of bad guys, they can actually fight each other as well. So it's nice to know they're not teaming up on you. And then we have, I don't actually know what these are in the game, but some really nice sort of red crystal resources. They're really nice. Got a lot of games sort of like crystal gem resin resources. So add those to it as another one we've got. And then here are the dice. Really nice dice. So much so that I went and ordered more. And I don't know if I'll actually need them when we're playing, because we're mostly playing at 2-player count. But just really nice dice. They're used for different methods of attack, I believe. I don't think they're faction based, the colours. I think that's just they're used for different ways of fighting. I've seen cards and boards that have got sort of different rows of what dice you need to do certain fight actions. And then we've got 2 resource trays here. And you can see, so that was those tokens that were on the hex punch boards, that were all dotted around the outside, and they got the symbols on them for what resources they are. So that's really nice. And then what we've got just chucked in here. Oh yeah, so there's like these. Oh, so these are faction specific to the 4 colours, and they're like little camps or something. And then you can fortify. I think you can put a tower on it, and then you can put defences around it. So it's like 3-part plastic that you upgrade as you're playing the game. I'll see if we can find those in here later. And then we've got the other cards, and they're a lot bigger, sort of tarot sized. So see if we can just get into these. I never have any luck with these gold band things. They are designed to peel the plastic off easily, and I make it look so difficult, which is why I do most of my card pack cutting off camera. So it doesn't sit here forever. Okay, so we've got the dice distribution, and then we've got are these the I don't know if they're like story cards, because there's like, I think you have something where you shuffle. Yeah, you've got like event cards, and you draw random maybe from each chapter, and then it sort of builds your story as you play through the campaign. It's sort of like mini campaigns in a single play. And then these are the sort of hero characters for your factions. And you can see there's the dice I was talking about. So it's not faction specific, I don't think. Like you roll certain numbers, sort of coloured dice, depending on how you can attack maybe. And they're made of the same material, really nice thick quality. Hopefully I've got the right size sleeves to do those. They're bigger than most of the standard sleeves I've got, but we'll see. And again, just you can see on the lids and in the trays they're all marked up as what should be. Here are the so that's the fortification for those little camps we had. So it's just a ring, it just sits on the outside of that camp and sort of improves it. And then I think there's another bag here. Yeah, so that's the tower. So I think that just clips over the top of the tower that's in the middle. So it's just a more advanced tower. So that's really nice that you can have these plastic models that will sort of visually upgrade as you go. So it's not just like a card saying you've got like a level 3 or whatever. You actually physically change it on the board. That's a really nice extra. We've got the back here, another little small bag. Oh, this is the oh god, they're like the little clips, like score trackers. Like the ones you get on sort of Betrayal of the House on the Hill. But they designed them as really nice sort of tentacle feature. I remember seeing one of their updates where they were talking about the design. That's a really nice little touch. So it's not just typical arrow. And then we've got these towers, which like the sort of camp fort things. They come in 3 parts as well. So that's the big section. That's like the base, and then we've got what's this? Like another one of the towers that goes in the middle. yes, this is the next. I think it's the next level, and you can see that just slots on top of that base one, and then there's a third part for that as well, which goes on top. So again, just a nice visual component upgrade as you're playing through the game. It's a nice touch. And then we've got the bad guys, the Legion. I think the Legion are the purple ones, and the Chaos, the sort of luminous yellow ones. And the same as the hero factions. It's just some really nice. I don't know if they're heat transfer or screen printed. I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff. I think they're heat transfer. But you can see, like, I remember them saying in one of their updates as well about how they had to they were trying to cut the holes throughout the plastic. I don't think it needed it. I think it would have been fine solid, but it's nice that the gap between the body and the limbs there, they've got the hole cut out of the plastic as well. But yeah, so that is the base game, and I'm looking forward to reading that rulebook and getting that bad boy to the table. But let's take a look at the expansion now. So this is the Arch Nemesis expansion, and from what I remember of the campaign, it looks like it's just 4 new factions that you can choose to pick up. So it's a lot smaller box. I don't think you can fit all of this because it comes with those plastic inserts for factions. I don't think this fits inside the base game box, so you will have to keep this separately. But as you can see, it's quite a thin box compared to the bigger one, which is like 3-4 times deeper. And so we'll just take a look. There's your old safety notice. Some more punch board again. So this will be for the starting factions that come with some extra tiles there, by the looks of it. And there's this. I don't know if that omen thing is like a new mechanic for the expansion, maybe. So yeah, you've got your 4 starting tiles and just some extra ones there for the setup. Another nice thick rule book. All your components there. I do remember, so you can see there's some story stuff here and some maps. I love the fact this isn't just like, some fancy art slapped on a basic mechanics of a game. They've really thought up this world, and that there was a lot of updates when the game was on Kickstarter, sort of story based. I didn't get a chance to read them all, but it sounds quite interesting. They've gone sort of really deep into the lore and the art and stuff. But there's your playables for the other 4 factions, and then that is it. That's all. The rest of the stuff in the tray here. There are some extra cards. To add in, maybe this is a new mechanic as well. I remember reading something about the herd, or if that's to do with a specific faction's ability. But these are those large cards again. Yeah, that looks like something individual, maybe for a specific faction. And then you've got the sort of hero characters for each of the new factions as well, with their combat and everything. So sleeve those later. And then I believe that the Chaos and the Legion get a few more extra pieces to go with them as well. And then the new factions themselves, same as before. Again, love the colours. And you've got the in this tray here, so look under the lid. So you've got the scoring markers again in the new colours of the new of the 4 player factions. And some more of these forts and stuff, again for the player faction colours. So it's all the sort of starting pieces come in this set for all 4 of these, and some of the smaller cards as well. Let's see if I can get these open quicker. Oh, there you go. I've got the knack of it now. And again, the cards just they're not sliding apart. It's very difficult to go through them, but and this is all the expansion factions again. And not knowing the rules at the moment, I don't know what any of this means on there, but like I said, I'm really looking forward to getting into this one. It looks like quite a nice, crunchy and heavy game. But yeah, with the twist of it being sort of co-op, sort of playing a TI game, TI 4th edition, but in a fantasy setting with a partner as opposed to everyone opposing each other's quite an interesting idea. So very much looking forward to adding this to our sort of sub-collection of co-op games to play with my girlfriend. But yeah, some more of those standees there. So yeah, it's just, it'll be nice for the replayability. Not just you've got that kind of that random setup to the game each time, which makes it different each time. But the fact that we have now 8 factions, and I originally wasn't going to get this because the price of it. I wasn't backing things to that extent cost wise when I was first getting into Kickstarter, and I think I added this and then I regretted it, so I took it off. And then when the map backer kit came around, I changed my mind again. But yeah, so that's the expansion, and I'm kind of glad I got that now because it gives us a bit more variability and extra stuff to play. And just lastly, there was some extra things that I added in. Once I paid for the expansion and it went over a certain price, so I was like, let's chuck in some extra dice, and then this little item pack that came with it as well, just to have sort of everything really. So yeah, was it called the Armory of Azul? And it's just a nice little pack of extra items to chuck into the game, just a little bit more content. If I can get them all out of the box, so they'll just go inside the base game really. I'll just leave those up with the other little item cards and chuck them in. But yeah, you get to a point where if you've got all the big stuff, you may as well just add those little items, the little extras in on the pledge manager as well. So I went from talking myself and just going for the base game to see what it was like to then the pledge manager came around and I was like, yeah, I want everything. And like I said earlier, I don't know if I'll, with just the two of us mostly playing, it'd be nice if we end up getting a 4-player game with this and we can have sort of one set of dice on one side of the table, one side on the other, because with the board and everything set up in the middle, it's going to get quite table hoggy. So it'd be nice if we can just have like, dice tray on opposite side with all these in there. So whether these will get used or not, I don't know, but I couldn't resist it. I love dice. We have a bowl of dice here and these are just nice looking. But yeah, so that is everything we got with Uprising, and very much look forward to getting that to the table. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to see more content, head over to Instagram @alwaysplayblue or check out the website alwaysplayblue.com. Thank you.